Hi, welcome to a little Q&A with the cast of Win. I'm Brett, and I'm playing Ryan, and I'm also the writer-director.
I'm Kate, I'm playing Holly.
I'm Haley, and I'm playing Maisie.
I'm Kylie, and I'm playing Zoe.
I'm Evan, and I'm playing Tom.
I'm Sarah, and I'm playing Dorothy.
I'm David, and I'm playing Professor Radner.
I'm Katie, and I'm playing Lizzie.
I'm Sawyer, and I play Nate. We're cutting this, right?
We're doing great.
Who in the show is most like your character, and who is least like your character?
I'll be the first to say I am completely the opposite of my character.
That's hardcore.
You will never see me wear a nose ring. You'll never see me with black lipstick.
It's the black lipstick.
I mean, the leather jacket I might wear.
The leather pants.
And maybe the leather pants, definitely.
I would say I relate to Holly in a lot of ways. You know, there's a lot going on under the surface that she kind of takes her moment to talk about. And I've definitely had those moments, but at the same time, she puts everything aside. She puts her family first, and that's also one of my core values in my personal life.
That's a real answer.
Yeah.
I kind of think I'm like Maisie too, not just because she wears green a lot, and green's my favorite color. It seems like she really wants to help others in the way that she has received help, and that's something that's really important to me, and especially in the last year I've been trying to do more and more of, with different platforms, pageantry, and all that stuff. It's very important to me that I use my experiences to help others, and I get to be vulnerable and use that vulnerability to help others. And I think, from what I've gathered of Maisie, she's the same way.
If the show was recast, what character, male or female, would you most want to play, and why?
I want to play Nate.
Me too. I would have been Nate too.
You guys. Since y'all want to play Nate so badly, honestly, I want to play Evan's character.
That'd be mine as well.
Yeah.
There's just something about Evan's character that I would have a fun time playing as well, because he's like, he has a sense of humor, but he's that nice, laid-back kind of guy. You know what I mean? Like that person that like you can talk to about anything, and he'll give you advice. Because that, honestly, if I had to pick that, if I was that character, that's the character I most likely relate to. Because, he's just that kind of guy. He's just that kind of guy.
I'd rather play Dorothy, because I also relate to that. I just get to put my feelings out there about that type of situation.
Ditto.
Let me make sure that the camera's still recording.
Time limit, guys.
30 minutes. 30 minutes.
It's actually been 2 minutes.
What, this?
That makes me wildly uncomfortable.
Yes.
Well, if you think that's uncomfortable, look at this.
Nope.
Here, I'll do it to myself.
Oh no.
I learned that from my friend Nick Warnick. Shout out to you, Nick. If this gets in, if this gets into final production, shout out to you, Nick Warnick. You taught me this. You taught me this.
I will sue.
Would you and your character be friends?
Okay, now why?
Okay, so I feel like I'm very quiet, at least like until I get to know people. But I feel like Tom is very outgoing to literally everyone he meets. Trying to give the advice to everyone, even if he just... When I run into Ryan for the first time, I barely know the guy, but I'm very open. So I just feel like there's... I don't think I'd be friends with my character.
But maybe it would balance it out. You said you're quiet.
Opposites attract.
It's more outgoing.
I mean, you could do it.
Extroverts pull out the introvert.
You're responsible.
That's true.
You're a man.
How else would the introvert? I heard Sarah.
I would definitely say that I could see myself being friends with my character on that, and I think that I still try to in the mentor sense of it. And I can actually say one shout out to Derek Barr. That's one that I do have a close relationship, thanks to Sarah out of that. But go to him for different advice and different things, and being able to reach out and just try to have that perspective on different things. So.
Fun fact about that character, he was written for Derek Barr, but then I wanted Derek Barr to see the show instead, so I gave it to David.
Thanks.
What's it like being in a show where the director is also the playwright?
Stressful because I forget all of my lines. The director is right there in the same scene as me. All the time. I'm sorry, Brett.
Anytime I mess up a line, it's a rewrite. It's allowed.
I think, well, it can be nerve-wracking acting in the same scene. It's also really nice because, you know, he understands everything about it. Like, every inch of that scene is his. And say you know, start to go one way or the other way, he's really flexible, and he's an awesome, you know, an awesome actor. And again, that flexibility allows for the scene to kind of take on a life of its own, which is a lot of fun, and it's a lot of fun to respond to during the scene.
I will say, I've experienced it not once but twice before, where the director was also the main star. So I got to witness it what it was like before firsthand. But this man over here, he handled it pretty well, you know. And I think I think it's also because it's also his play that he made himself. So he just naturally knew what he was gonna do. So I think he did a fantastic job.
What's also cool about it is that it has so much heart too. You know, we're all putting in so much of us into everything that we're doing for the show, and I think a lot of that is for Brett and because of Brett, and because he's in this and he's with us, he's in the trenches, and I think that kind of really adds to the vibe of the whole thing. Whether it's on stage, off stage, texting, freaking out, abort, you know, like he's there, and that's a really, really cool element.
I think another cool thing is that obviously he was writing this with just ideas of people in mind, whether or not he went with the first choice or the second choice or like the fifth choice. I don't know.
They're there.
He was thinking about us and what our strengths would be. And I think I see in Maisie, you know, stuff that I can specifically do well, something that like I've brought to the stage before, I'm already comfortable with, and I know what to deal with. And I think I see that in a lot of these characters too, whether or not they're exactly like us or exact opposites of us. He wrote in a way that plays to our strengths and makes us all a very cohesive group, whether or not we're exactly like our characters or not. We all mesh well, and I think that's partly because he wrote this with us in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's been neat to like just be a part of like it coming together. I mean, you had us in mind and you wrote the story, but it's been neat for all of us to work together just to make it come to life and for it to be what you envisioned.
Absolutely. And watching it come to life, like I think I got like the text from you where you were like, hey, I had this idea for a show, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And and then it was just kind of cool looking back in retrospect and seeing how it came to life, like hearing you talk about it, hearing you talk about ideas for the scenes, and then I think it was during Damn Yankees or something where you sent me the script to read for the first time, and here we are on stage a couple of days from opening having an interview for the cast, and basically watching it go from an idea to an actual production. That's been really cool to see.
I will say, one of the key inspiration for it was it went from a video of a friend of ours, Justice Courier, who was at a theme party, and the theme party was everyone had to be dressed up. But there was a couple people at the party who did not dress up. So Justice was there, and he looked like a professor. And there's a video on my phone that I think is so funny. That's us playing a game, and he's beside two people who did not dress up, and then he's just in the middle of them in his little suit and his beard, and he looked like a professor wandered into a party with his students. And like that idea, I was like, that's hilarious. So I had the idea of the first thing I imagined was just like, I just pictured a professor like a ridiculous student of his coming up to him and like just being whack with him, and like the professor being uncomfortable. So like really the first scene that was like imagined was very much the scene that I had with Evan as Tom, and Evan was the first person that was in the show. I was like, hey, I'm writing a show, can you be in it? And he was like, all right. And I asked him, I was like, because Evan is very good at playing very, very serious characters. He's played Nick Carroll, he's played Romy. He's very good at playing characters that have a lot to say. He's very good at delivering monologues. He doesn't get a lot of moments to shine his like comedic side. And so I was like, hey Evan, I wrote you a part that you're gonna like love. And then he was like, I'll read it. And then like half an hour later I got back, I love it. Another thing that went behind the casting of each of the characters is the way I kind of played it into the fact that we're doing it in Petersburg. Some of the characters I want the audience to trust a little more. Some of them I want them to be a little on edge about. So a character like Dorothy, who I want the audience to instantly sympathize, I wanted to go with someone who they've seen in a lot of things before. So the audience will naturally just be comfortable with her. A character like Radner, who's supposed to be a comforting presence for Ryan, I wanted to go with David, someone that the audience has known and seen a lot. And I wanted Tom to be like a comforting presence, someone with Evan, because he's here all the time. I wanted Maisie. I wanted them to question her a little bit, so I wanted to have someone who was, who the people in Petersburg don't really know.
See what I have to put up with?
And there's an Ethan Hawke quote. I'm going to quote Ethan Hawke a little bit. He says that one of the things he never realized until he became an actor was that he would never have that opportunity to make a first impression again, because people knew who he was. They had him associated with something. I think for a lot of people in this, being the first thing they've done here, it's a chance to make that first impression. And I think it's pretty rad.
Who is your favorite character in the show?
Nate.
Nate and Tom.
It's like the leathers
too.
For me, it's a tie between Professor Radner, Dorothy, and Holly. I really like Holly's character a lot. I like what you've done. Sorry, Maisie.
I think you're great.
Thank you. I think you're great too. We don't need you.
I didn't say you were playing it bad. I think you're playing it very well. Do the next question.
Fill in the blank. If you like, you'll love when.
Jazz?
Jazz?
I knew it.
If you like jazz, you're gonna love Lynn.
You like jazz?
I think if you like How I Met Your Mother, you'll like Lynn.
If you like Brett, you'll like what? Because this is a very Brett show. You can see that he has written it in like every single scene, every single character, like every word of the show is so Brett. So if you like him, you're gonna love this show.
That's why it's so sad.
Oh.
No, it's fine. I'm curious to hear
I
about
think
it.
if you like theater, you're gonna
Oh my
love it. If you enjoy going,
If you like
I don't have to
breathing-
answer. I take it back. We're done.
I'll actually go off of that as well, because I will say theater on that, because you guys have done a really good job of getting into the characters and developing them from the ground up. So I can say, like, one thing I know I talked to Brett about was, a lot of times in a lot of roles, I'll go to YouTube and try to just get an idea of how some other people might have some different ideas to do that, or what to do on stage. But this one was pretty much a, hey, you're going to kind of figure it out as you go type of thing. You didn't have that resource to go back to and, see that. So, I mean, you guys building that character up, I think, that it's going to be really cool to watch for that.
Okay, I have two. If you like Easter eggs in movies and plays, I'm not going to give anything away, but if you like when there are those extra details and those extra thought out things, you're going to love this. And number two, if you like that cheesy iceberg analogy where you have the top and then everything else underneath of it, I think that really reflects the show because there's a lot that happens on the stage. It's like, oh yeah, that's great. But when you really take time to think about it, there's a lot of themes, there's a lot of, just subtleties that really, they make an impact when you really think about it for a long time. So those are the two.
Yeah, I feel like the show, anyone could watch it, read it, and find something that resonates with them.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like our generation. And people, that are not in this generation, they could look back and be like, yeah, I felt like that when I was that age,
And
It's very relatable.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I feel like with that iceberg analogy, that could also apply to a handful of the characters. I mean, especially Ryan, you start off, you just see him as a professor nervous for his first day. And then as you go through the story, you hear a little bit more about his background, how his life was before. I'm going to try and avoid spoilers.
I was like,
I'm fighting it back.
It's like Tom Holland.
Like with Radner, with Dorothy, with Ryan, with Maisie, it's like every little scene uncovers something more about them, one more little detail, and by the end you get this whole big picture that you couldn't have possibly imagined from the first couple of scenes. And it's been really cool to play. Really, what is the word? I'm sorry.
Words are hard. Take your time. It's good.
I'm giving up. It's been really cool to play. It's been really cool to watch everybody else play. And it's just a fascinating take to be able to take on these characters and the show as a whole.
If you like depressing relationships and college you'll love this show.
If you like drama, we've got the drama.
If you like boys in tight black leather pants, you're gonna love every second
You're
of
gonna love it.
You're gonna love it.
You're gonna love it.
Relationships are like my game.
Right? Even though it's not a musical, it's a very like musically inspired show, and I feel like you can get that vibe. A lot of the things they say and a lot of the way it unfolds, it almost flows like a song. Like the song begins and it picks up and there's the bridge and then there's the climax at the ending, and the song's over. And then like I think there are lines that will get stuck in people's head, and that's just like a melody getting stuck in your head. Or there's like things that you'll think about after the show ends. It's like, oh, hey, this song, you know, I thought was pretty fun when I first listened to it. And I listened to the words and I was like, oh.
What's cool about acting in this show in particular is it's very much like music. You know, music, when you play it, it exists for that moment. Of course, it's on the page, but the music that's actually coming out of the instrument is just in that moment, and it's a living, breathing thing. And, you know, that's what's really cool about this show is that every time has been different. Every time that these actors step into their roles, they are putting something else. They're trying something else, like you talk about playing and exploring. You know, it's neat because that, you know, when you talk about it being a song, I hadn't thought about that before, but seeing it, you know, of course, when you hear a song recorded it's the same thing every time, but it means something different every time, you know, depending on where you are in your life or what's going on in your outside, anything else. And I think that this is kind of one of those, like, play it again plays.
Yeah. If you like movies, I think you would like When,
Ooh, yeah.
because it feels like a movie. Brett scored it. He added his own music, and it really added a personal touch to make it feel like this like surrounding experience where you were brought into it, and it was like you were in a movie theater and you're watching this story come to life and you're brought into it. It's not just distance. There's no disconnection between the audience and the stage. The music really just ties it together and pulls you in.
Hey, Dave. What's your favorite dinosaur?
He's a dinosaur. Classic T-Rex.
If you were a dinosaur, what dinosaur would you be and why?
Oh.
You have 20 seconds.
He likes the T-Rex. Doesn't want to be the T-Rex.
I would want to be a velociraptor. Yeah, that's probably my favorite. That's where I want to go.
Yeah.
Mainly because I go a little deeper on this. I do believe in teamwork and all that fun stuff and working together. That is a big value out of that. So I would say, you know, they are a part of a pack and always play off each other towards that. So
The value
That
of
was inspirational.
velociraptor.
Professor.
I always said
Going into
velociraptor
this.
to me because I'm just scrappy.
Evan.
Yeah.
And I think this is kind of a spoiler because it was on your bio already, but what is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie is The Sorcerer's Apprentice.
And why? Sorry.
Okay, so it has all of my favorite actors and actresses in it. So first of all, I love Jay Baruchel. Obviously, he's an amazing guy. Then Melina, obviously amazing. Like when I first watched the movie, I have watched it on repeat over and over and over again, and it wasn't within the past year even. I think I messaged Brett at the exact moment I realized that it's the guy that played Doc Ock in Spider-Man.
Yeah. It was all caps. Holy shit! Did you know that Alfred Molina played?
And then of course, Nicolas Cage. Like that's not
Can't go wrong.
but
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
the best. Sawyer,
Oh.
you have a bunch of really good one-liners, but which one is your favorite?
No, don't do that one. That's a spoiler. Save this for the show. Ask a different question.
Okay.
I just suck, Evan.
This is a good one for the show. What's your favorite drink?
Well,
Is it lager?
no, well, starts with an M. Well, there's two words. Starts with an M, ends with a Y.
What? Mojito?
No,
Ends with a Y?
That was before you said that part.
I don't know.
There.
But myself, not my character, I really don't drink that much. But, you know, I guess you could say I'm a social drinker, and barely that. But I'd say my favorite drink is an Angry Orchard. It's a nice, subtle, you really don't taste the alcohol, and it's a nice, subtle, like, a sweet flavor, you know.
That has neither an M nor a Y.
I know, but
But now I have to know. What I can't even think of a drink.
Yeah.
I'm lying angry.
One. You know?
that starts with a C.
I
I don't think you guys understand. I was referring to what's in the show, no spoilers, but
Oh, that makes so much sense now.
Goodness
Okay.
gracious, on a stick.
Caitlin, what's your favorite scene in this show and why?
No spoilers. You'll be out of the Marvel Universe.
People who spoil will be shot on sight.
I mean, it could just be the funny ones.
I had a favorite scene, but I can't say why because then it spoils it.
Okay, let me do
Who's
different.
in the scene?
Yeah,
Let's go with.
yeah.
Holly and Ryan, their scene.
All right,
I
say
got it.
nothing about the scene.
Kylie, what's your favorite cheese?
Cheese? Okay, I really like Colby Jack cheese.
Ooh,
Good cheese.
that's good.
Real
Yeah.
good.
It's a good cheese.
Good cheese.
Good cheese.
Good cheese.
It's a good
Good cheese.
That's Gouda.
Sarah,
Kylie.
what's your favorite pizza topping?
Oh.
Does pineapple belong on pizza?
Absolutely not.
Yes, it does.
Absolutely not.
No.
No, okay. Hold on.
No,
Okay, but for
no,
real.
no.
I mean, I do like Hawaiian pizza, but I think my favorite toppings would be like bacon and mushrooms and peppers. and things
Mushrooms?
Like that.
Yes.
Pineapple,
Okay.
no.
What?
Y'all are
Pineapple,
sinners.
no.
Haley,
Hello.
first question, because I'm coming next. But if you were an animal, what animal would you be?
She's a moose.
You know what all I can think of is like the princess. Yeah.
Okay. If I were an animal, I think I would be a cat. I feel like I have a lot in common with cats. You know, I like to nap. I don't like people all that much. No offense, you
Absolutely.
guys. I just kind of do things to the beat of my own drum, and if it's like if you don't like it, sorry. I also like the thing where cats do, where if they see something that like concerns them or they don't like it, they just smack the crap out of it. So
Kate, what's your favorite type of bear?
Bear? I don't know if I know many bears other than Bears, Beats, Battlestar Galactica, but
Yes.
I really like. Oh, I've got one. The grizzly bear.
Okay.
Oh.
And why is that?
Only because I spent about a month teaching this grizzly bear song to my elementary music students, and we sang it. Like I can no longer think of any bears without thinking of a grizzly bear and my little munchkin singing. Yeah.
Cute.
When opens on July 2nd, it's July 3rd, it's July 8th, it's July 9th, it's July 10th at the Landis Arts Center here in Petersburg, West Virginia. We're all in it. So come see us. Thanks for watching.
Yay! See you soon.
Hopefully.
When?
Maximum velocity.